Okay, so this is a discussion on cryptocurrency and all of them. Now, so the main leader there, of course, is the Bitcoin. We see today at 58,000. This is a 1-year chart on Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not really sure where there's a better charts on this, but we'll just use this one. We can see that it's, it made this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move up. And this up in here, then it did top in around the 63 and change level, pulled back sharply to under 50, down to 48.5 or even less. Now popping back up. We can see that this is the resistance, or not the resistance, but the top here, 57, top at 60. This could be forming a head and shoulders pattern. That's the problem with this market on it. But let's talk about the fundamentals of, because we're technical analysts, but let's talk about the fundamentals of cryptocurrency. There's lots of talk about it being a fiat to replace the dollar, a store of value, all those kind of things. But the talk is big, the action is not. You can't, people have big positions in US dollars or treasuries, US treasuries, which is a low risk, which is the ultimate low risk investment. And they're not, and so you might, or they have bonds, 30% of their position is in bonds and real estate and stock market. People aren't buying, it's like gold. People don't buy 50% of their portfolio in gold. They buy 10% of gold or 5%. And so maybe that's what they buy in Bitcoin, a couple percent, 1 or 2%, or maybe 5% they buy Bitcoin. But it's so volatile. It's just, and what's the value of Bitcoin? Now, the thing about Bitcoin is that it is a finite number. It's not going to be, there's not an unlimited amount of issuance. They do have a finite number. So it is supply and demand. And it's a big market now, $1 trillion market cap. That's huge. But what can you do with it? I mean, how does it hold value? The only way Bitcoin holds value is supply and demand. Not unlike gold, I suppose. Gold is supply and demand, but this gold is used as jewelry. It's used, and central banks buy it. And there's a fundamental use for that commodity. What's the use for Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't get it. But that's fine. Just because I don't get it doesn't mean you can't trade it. I don't trade Bitcoin because I don't understand it, and I don't. And to me, it's an absolute Ponzi scheme. Now, is it going to continue to go higher? Could. I don't know. But I'm not going to play it because it's just too dangerous. It's too volatile. This thing takes $10,000, $20,000 swings. That's huge. But I saw something on Twitter the other day, and these guys had wrote about Bitcoin and one other tech stock. And the one guy wrote on Twitter and said, yeah, Warren Buffett missed all these moves in these stocks, like calling Warren Buffett a has-been. But that's not the kind of stocks that Warren Buffett trades. He buys long-term big positions on old company kind of growth stocks, and he did very well with that strategy. And so if you don't like Warren Buffett's strategy of not owning Bitcoin, don't buy his stocks. Not every asset class has to be traded. I don't trade this cryptocurrencies because I don't understand it. I don't like it. I think it's a scam. Well, it's not a scam, but I think it's a big Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin now, obviously at $1 trillion market cap, has some credibility to it, but I don't get it. I don't understand why it's at 58,000, other than Elon Musk pumping it and Tesla buying a big position in it. Which brings us to some of the other, the other ones. This Ethereum. So I thought maybe a lot of money was going out of Bitcoin and going into Ethereum. I mean, look at this thing. It's come from under 5. So what was it here? 200, and now 3,500, 3,600. Big move. I'm not sure what Ethereum does. Let's see. It allows smart contracts to run unlike Bitcoin. Blah, blah, blah. It's not capped. So it's an infinite supply. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to use this for. I suppose the biggest scam, I think, is this Dogecoin. This was started as a joke. The guys that developed this. Now it traded from 1/3 of a penny to over 60 cents. And there's an infinite supply, and there's no use for it. And it has an 80 billion market cap. This is not going to end well. Now, where does it go? How high does it trade? I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever what the speculation could be. And that's the thing. When an asset class, when this rampant speculation comes into it, you have no idea how high it goes. Tulips in the 1700s, Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, .com stocks in 2000, silver when the Hunts tried to corner the market. I mean, you just never know how high these things are going to go. But what you do know is when the party ends, it doesn't end well for the people that were buying at the top. I think a good example of that now was this GameStop. It traded to 483 and then sold off back down to 40. And I was saying this when it was up in this 500 range, I said, this is not going to end well for the people that are buying it up at this level. And it didn't. It came down to 30. Now it popped again, and now it's one of the things that they were able to do with the Wall Street bets was raise $500 million. So that was good for the company. So maybe now it has some validity to it. But the point is, when you get this rampant speculation like this, it doesn't end well. So the Dogecoin, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's still rampant speculation, but it has no use. It has no intrinsic value. It has an infinite supply. And so, what is it? It's strictly gambling. It's strictly the greater fool than I am theory. I'm going to buy this asset class in hopes that I can sell it to somebody at a higher price. So it's not that I'm against trading cryptocurrencies, or if that's what you want to do, trade them. I think you just have to be very cautious. You have to be prepared to lose all your money, and I mean, that's one of the reasons why people don't put all their assets into, except the Wall Street bets, YOLOs. You only live once mentality. That's why they're only buying small pieces of it, because it could end at zero. So if you want to trade them, fly at it. Just recognize that, in my opinion, they're trading strictly on the greater fool than I am theory.